Hi, I'm Tyler, and I'm the Undersecretary General of General Assemblies.
I'm Alexis, and I'm an Assistant Secretary General for General Assemblies.
And I'm Sophia, and I'm the other Assistant Secretary General for General Assemblies.
Great, and today we're going to be talking about writing working papers and draft resolutions. The goal of every Model UN committee is to produce a document that will address the problems in your topic guide with the solutions that you, the delegates, come up with. After you debate the topic, you'll start writing this document called a working paper. And then once you submit it, begin debating and voting on the paper, it is now called a draft resolution. If it passes, and a majority of the delegates in the committee vote on this draft resolution, the document becomes a committee resolution. So what does this actually look like?
The first part of your paper will be your preambulatory clauses, sometimes called preambles. These are short phrases that set up the background of the topic and explain why it's important to take action. For example, say we're in a committee addressing climate change. A preamble might sound like this: alarmed by the potentially devastating effects of global warming on sea level and climate.
The rest of your paper will be comprised of operative clauses. This is the most important part of your working paper because each operative clause goes into detail about your ideas and solutions. An example of an operative clause might be recommends the establishment of public-private partnerships to build countries' capacity for renewable energy technology. You should begin every operative clause with a word like recommends, suggests, or requests. You'll have a list of these clause beginning phrases to refer to throughout committee, so don't worry if you can't think of any on the spot.
And Sophia, crazy question, how many operative clauses should you have?
Well, there's really no set number in total, but your working paper will probably be several pages, and technically, every single resolution is exactly one sentence long, believe it or not.
Cool. So what makes a working paper good? First, I'd say a good resolution has a heart, a core principle where all of the clauses play a part and are coherent. Once you find that heart, make that the title of your working paper resolution. And then beyond that, each clause that you include in your working paper should be meaningful, as in it would actually make a difference in the problem, specific, say exactly who is doing what to address the problem, and relevant, as in it reflects the original objective of the problem and the issue that you're discussing in the committee.
Now, I know this sounds like a lot to do in one weekend, but don't worry, you're given more than enough time in committee to get it all done. Make sure not to start writing before you get to the conference. If you do, it's called prewriting, and Wyman does not allow it. The idea of this committee is to allow every delegate to have a chance to contribute to the topic and to adapt their ideas based on what's going on in committee. If you start writing before you get to committee, you don't give other delegates a chance to do that, and that's not fair. And you don't have to do this all by yourself either. During the conference, you should find a group of countries with similar ideas to you that you can work with to collaborate with on your plan and solve the issue together.
Great. So how do you find this group called a bloc? Say that you're the United States in this climate change scenario, and the delegation of the country India says something that you agree with in a speech. Well, during the speeches that people make in the speakers list and moderated caucus, you can pass notes to delegates who've expressed ideas similar to yours. Then, when you reach an unmoderated caucus, you'll have a time to chat with the delegation from India in person. Unmoderated caucuses are also a great time to start writing, sharing ideas, splitting up the work on this working paper.
So now let's say you and India and a couple other countries have a document, which is a working paper, that you want to go and vote on. So how do you go about doing that?
First, you need to have a minimum number of sponsors and signatories on what's called your signed working paper. Sponsors are countries that have actually written and contributed to the paper, like you and India, and signatories are simply countries that want to hear it debated upon in committee.
Now, you have your sponsors and you have your signatories and you've introduced your working paper. That's all great, but that's half the battle. Let's say that another bloc led by France and Argentina came up with ideas to fight climate change that are pretty similar to yours, and the chair asks your groups to merge. That means you have to work with the other bloc to combine your two papers into a single draft resolution.
Merging can be hard because no two papers are exactly alike, even if they are similar. You will need to be able to be diplomatic and work with the other bloc to ensure that your ideas are coherent and don't contradict each other. Then you can vote on the final merged paper as a draft resolution.
Last step, then you vote on the resolution and it passes, if you have any luck.